Ladies and gentlemen, in the building, it's been quite some time. We felt abandoned over here, but here he is back with a brand new single and a whole bunch of new things to talk about, man.
Absolutely.
One time for the legendary Akon.
What's going on?
I love me some Akon.
Where my bell at?
No. I don't love you that much. No, I'm joking. You can borrow mine.
New single, Enjoy That, getting ready to impact everywhere.
Yeah, man.
What made you feel like, all right, now's the time? Because we've been waiting for a minute.
Yeah, I had so much going on. I mean, I clearly ain't got to tell you, but it's been a lot going on, and I didn't realize how much time had flew past. You know what I'm saying? Like it flew. Like even now when I look back and I be like, wow, I haven't put out a record since 2008. That was my last album.
Has it been that long?
That was my last album, and in my whole career, I only put out 3 albums.
But those things lasted.
Yeah.
Impactful album.
You know what I'm saying?
Impactful.
So I was like, man, yeah. So, but I mean, that's when music was enjoyable. I mean, it was all based on, your circumstance that surrounded your life. Every time you heard a song, it pushed you back to a specific moment in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I miss that. I don't hear that no more. Like, so I was like, you know what? Let me get back to this music thing now that all my investments are secure.
Yeah.
My legacy is fully built out. I'm in a good space. Like, I can afford to have fun now.
Now, is that difficult? Because, like you said, music is a little different now. And you are taking a different approach when it comes to, the social media, the TikTok, and all that stuff.
To be honest, I ain't going to lie to you. I don't understand none of that stuff.
Me either.
If you look at my social media handles, I got mad followers, but no engagements. I don't be on it.
It makes sense.
No, because I'm in my era, we was real private, and it's hard for me to break out of that. Like, I can't really have people all in my business like that.
Right.
Now you got to overshare, and people want to see everything you do.
Yeah,
what
so
sandwich did Akon eat today?
Right. So now the stuff that you see on me is stuff that other people are posting about me. But I am trying to get more used to getting involved in the posting and trying to understand it. I just don't want to be corny.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I see a lot of dudes and women in my era that just look super corny, like
doing too much.
doing way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah, we know for so long they was trying to get you on the Housewives of Atlanta because of
I got
your
20
wife.
wives for that.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I'm like, which wife is he gonna take? Where are we at now?
Right.
Number wise.
I don't do it's not a number thing.
It's not. What do you mean, Kai?
Listen, I'm African, okay?
Okay.
African, we have a different tradition. Men are treated as kings, and this is who we are. Like, it's just a different understanding of culture between a woman and a man, the roles that we play for each other. Mm-hmm. And I think here, everything is just so coordinated from a business standpoint that people miss the spiritual side of relationships. There's a reason why God built 15 women for every one man on this earth. If we with all these rules that they got set aside for how a relationship's supposed to be, or how man and woman's supposed to kind of unite, or whatever the case may be, with that ratio, if every man decided to just be with one woman following them rules, think about how many women would be out there with no companion.
See, I say that a lot, and people look at me like, you scoundrel, how dare you? But the statistics speak for themselves.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But even when you look at, other worlds that practice, whatever, like if you go to Asia, you don't the word domestic confrontation don't exist. Like in Africa, you're not we don't fight over women and niggas getting shot over stuff, over relationship. It just doesn't happen because there's a balance.
Yeah.
And there's not so much pressure on a relationship. Like, it's so many rules. I don't know how anybody can successfully manage any happy relationship. It just doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, I think we see that now because a lot of people talk about Diddy's relationships with what he got going on and Nick Cannon.
Right.
But you've been doing this for quite some time. Your whole, that's just how you are.
But
and
me it's different because it comes second nature because it's my culture.
Right.
Now, when you talk about somebody like Nick, for instance, amazing man. He does for all of them. Mm-hmm. Not only take care of them, but he take care of his kids, he take care of their families. They're all happy. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what is the problem? What is it?
I'm not. I wouldn't be happy.
Just think about it. But just think about it, right? Then you look at somebody else's relationship. We ain't gonna name whose, but everybody know that there's someone like that person within their atmosphere, right? They're supposedly a one man or one woman man. Mm-hmm. But the problems that exist in that relationship and the amount of complaints that she may be making about what he ain't doing, what he should be doing, other than that, I should be, I'm worth more. I could do better. Like, really, like, it's really all conversation. Like, it's understanding that person and their needs, and then also understanding your role as a man and your responsibility, right? But it's vice versa for the woman to understand her role as a woman and her responsibility to the man. So if we all just focus on our basic responsibilities, everybody will really be happy. But we ask more of your partner than they're actually supposed to even be able to do.
Understood. Now, Akon, a lot of people, when
You
they
know?
look at the dichotomy of what goes into having a multi-wife scenario, you got some people who instantly go to the sexual, like, oh, man, it got to be crazy, man.
Right.
But then also there's some people look at it like, yo, just imagine trying to make more than one woman happy at the same time
Right.
because of all the things that come with, being in a singular relationship.
Right.
What does that even truly look like in the modern day?
First of all, you can't base your relationships around sex.
Okay.
It'll never last. You can't. It
But
just- it
sex
what it
is
No,
important
sex is a
somewhere
bonus.
in there. Okay,
Sex
yeah.
is a bonus because
Okay.
sex is how you express the love you may have for the person.
Right.
Right. So, but if sex becomes the nucleus of your relationship, especially in this day and age where sex has no value, sex ain't hard to get no more. I can go to any strip club and, like, we ain't got to have a relationship. I ain't got to know your name. I just got to know the price.
Right.
Actually, I ain't got to go to strip club for that. I can go anywhere.
How much
Today.
are they charging these days?
I have no idea.
Good
I've never
answer.
Trying to
paid
get
for
you.
it. I have no idea. But my point is, I can go on IG right now.
No, it's true.
DM, she gonna name the price. She be like, well, you gotta fly me out and I do such and such. It is what it is. Like, this is a hustle for people. So if you're basing your relationship around sex, which is something that's naturally ordained for man and woman to do anyway, and you can't stop it. Like, as a man, we're natural breeders. We're put on this earth to reproduce and, spread our seed so the earth can continue to move. This is a natural thing, right? Now, imagine being in a position, like, prime example, you could put 1,000 guys on one corner. And
Don't
you
point it at me.
and
I
you
hate the corner.
And you let one bad chick walk past. You're gonna see 1,000 head go like this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
They head gonna all turn towards her walking and they don't even know why they're doing it. It's just a natural instinct. Like, the worst thing is to be with your girl holding hands, walking down the sidewalk, and the baddest chick walk past, and she say, "Boy, you better not look." It's gonna take everything in them not to look. You know what I'm talking about?
See, that's why I keep
But
my head
what
on
is
a
that
constant
feeling?
swivel, just
But
so
what
I
is that
can get away
feeling
with
though?
it.
What is that feeling that's in there that you just
You feel
can't
like you're
resist?
missing out.
You have to look. No, it's not even. It's your natural instinct. It's like a lion in your kitchen, and it's a steak right in front of him, and you saying don't eat it. It's gonna take everything in him not to bite into it.
But you got a steak right here.
Okay, what that means?
You're gonna get a lot of broke
Tuesday?
dudes cursed out though, because
It's
a lot of
giving
people
greedy.
can't
But
afford to even
what I'm
pull
saying
this
is,
off.
it's that restriction. She just said, "Well, you got a steak right here." I know that, but it's not seasoned like the one over here. Everybody got
that one's bland
but
over
like,
there.
prime
Shoulder
example,
steak.
I could take you to get IHOP steak, or I could take you to get Ruth Chris steak. What is the difference?
But to
They're
give
both-
up Roof Chris for IHOP is kind of crazy.
But they're both steaks. The only difference is the brand that you tax on it.
Steakums and steak.
Okay, cool. but, okay, let's go to towel steak.
Okay.
Right? Now, but think about all them varieties of steak.
Yeah.
Why should I resist you from tasting
Okay.
something
I
that
get
you're
what
going to eat
saying.
with or without me?
Yeah.
Because it's natural for you to ingest food to stay alive.
Right.
How do I have the right to tell you that you can't eat and stay alive?
This is how you get them, ain't it?
No, but I'm
Con?
just saying, think about it. This is a naturalistic thing that we create all these rules in society without putting nature into account.
Right.
If you're gonna put rules for humans, you gotta utilize our natural resources and our instincts. That has to be involved in the rules to where we can actually deliver on it. Because otherwise, nobody will never be perfect.
I need you to get into motivational speaking.
No, man.
because
Okay, yeah.
because
I
like,
get
what
it.
he's saying is making sense.
It does.
And like for the average person trying to kick the same rhetoric without the passion and the research, it comes across a little half cocked, and the point doesn't get all the way across. So
Right.
you broke it down in a way that made sense. Because
Because man, we have the capacity to make a woman happy to the fullest extent. It's just women are hard to satisfy.
right.
it's
So
just-
which
but-
goes back to
but-
my original point. Like when you start adding women to satisfy, and not even just in a sexual
No, but
way,
it's education
emotionally.
though. It's all conversation, bro. It's into like the problem with guys that they walk into the relationship line. Like,
I ain't know where my bell was. I almost hit over here.
like how you expect? Like, think about it. Women are the way they're built, right? They're built to serve you. And I mean this in the most positive way possible.
Right.
I don't mean it in a way of a woman, you know what I mean? That's how they're built. They're mothers. They love. They have emotions. They actually care. Like they cater.
Yeah.
This is what you guys do. So if I come to you and say, "Oh, girl, I'm gonna give you the world. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do it that way. You're gonna be the only one in my life." Clearly, they're gonna build their life around what you tell them, because they honestly will believe you until you show them anything different.
And it seems like, you even speak to it on your new single, Enjoy That. When me and Lois listened to it, it's like, oh man, talk about his life. I mean, like, where's the lie here in the record? You know what I mean? Like, he's getting it how he live it. How hard is it to, be transparent through your music and peel back those layers?
Well, it's interesting because my music started with me actually speaking and writing about my experiences. Because from the environment I was coming from, it wasn't the kind of situation where you could just talk to people about what you was doing illegally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to keep as much of that, concealed as possible. But ultimately, what ended up happening was every time I did get into issues mentally or I was going through something crazy, I couldn't really talk to people about it, so I just wrote about it. And then the money that I was actually getting from the streets, I had invested into recording studios, because that was how I justified how I made my money.
Right.
So I would go into studios and just make songs about it.
Gotcha.
And then that habit followed me in jail. So when I got locked up, I just naturally wrote about being locked up. So today, nothing really changed, because when you listen to the Trouble album, how dark it was versus Convicted, how it start brightening up and I'm experiencing different things. And
Right.
I'm having more confidence. Then you go into the Freedom album where it's like, okay, I'm totally pop at this point. I haven't seen the hood in I don't know how many years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you can see the transition in my lifestyle, because the songs were just coming about, things that I was dealing with. But ultimately today, it's like, okay, I'm out here just having fun. Like, how do I go 15 so years and then realize I never had a vacation? Like, how do you, I didn't even realize that I was working that hard that I never took time to enjoy my money.
It's the weird thing about work. It makes time go by fast.
It's like flies pass.
Yeah.
Flies pass.
And okay, so you was a product of your environment, and that's why your music was a little bit more, you would have your music be a little bit more geared towards that. That's when you was stealing cars. You went to jail for that. And Fat Joe just recently spoke out on the PNB Rock situation. He said he used to rob back in the day. But why do you have to kill him? You know what I mean?
It's not necessary.
Exactly. And you've stolen cars before, but then it kind of got full circle because somebody took your car.
No, it was. But you know what was interesting though? When it happened, I kind of felt like it was okay.
What, that they stole your car?
Yeah.
So chicken's coming home to roost.
Well, for 3 reasons.
Okay.
One of the reasons was, okay, I know exactly where it's going. I'm gonna get it right back.
Okay.
Like, I knew exactly where it was going. Like, that circuit, I know it like the back of my head. So I kind of already knew where he's going.
Okay.
And then
You used to take it there.
Hello. So the worst, but the second part was all my cars got tracking devices everywhere.
Right.
So as naturally, I was already paranoid that my car one day gonna be stolen. So I'm trying to tell the cop where the car is. I'm tell the lady on the thing, but I got the tracker, man. She's like, "Well, you got to." So I said, "Cool, no problem." I just hang up with her. Then I reached out to the police. They couldn't do it because the car went into a different district. So I said, "Cool." I just drove there, parked in front of my car.
You didn't park in front of your own car.
I swear to God, I went there and just waited. I honestly wanted the car thief to come out. But they clearly was like, nah, that car don't look something ain't right.
So you repoed your own car back?
I repoed my own car.
But the car went viral, right? And that was, some people were upset with how the 911 operator was dealing with you.
Yeah, she was kind of, I think she was having a bad day.
And you say you were carjacked
Yes, ma'am.
at gunpoint?
No, it wasn't at gunpoint.
What happened then?
I was literally getting gas, and they just jumped in the car. And
That's not a
pulled right out.
carjacking. That's not a carjacking.
Oh, okay.
Someone stole your car.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like that was a little unprofessional? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, on her part, I think it was a lot. It was very unprofessional. But at the end of the day, I didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't take it personal.
What do you think when you listen back to the call? Like, did you listen back to it at all?
Yeah, I listened back to it. I was like, man, I sound soft as hell. I'm like, man, you know what? I should have manned up with this chick. You know?
You probably didn't think it was
It was
gonna
giving me the same tonality you had on
Yeah.
Lonely.
I was like, I kind of felt bad for her, but then I was like,
you felt bad for her?
yeah, in a way, but then it was another thing because I was actually on my way to go help somebody that was going through something really crazy.
Damn.
So when that happened, it was like all those, so I ain't even had the energy to go back and forth with it, but more than anything, it kind of made me realize, man, like it could always be worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it could always get worse. So,
So
I just appreciated the moment at that time.
So you just pulled up, got in your car.
Yeah, I just
and
pulled up. No, actually, I didn't get in the car because, I have to get it. I don't know what they took out of it,
Right,
whatever. So I
right.
just parked there, and I called the police, and I said, "Listen, I'm parked in front of my car. Somebody just stole it."
Oh my God.
So they pulled up, and they went through the process. I had my spare, but they wouldn't let me take the car, because they had to run it for prints and do all that. I said, "Well, it's not gonna be necessary." He said, "Well, they stole your car. Are you gonna press charges?" I said, "Nah. I know whoever took it, they probably just needed the money."
Do you think they knew
doing
it was
for
you?
survivor. They clearly ain't know. It was like, I don't know. Like, I didn't hear. I wasn't paying attention. I'm just looking at the LED, and next thing you know, my arm damn near came out of my socket, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And I looked up, the car was flying. I didn't hear this dude get in the car, close the door, nothing. I was like, I ain't even hear the door close.
Hey Siri, play Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. Damn.
Well, speaking of
that's wild.
Smooth Criminal, you talked about MJ a lot this past weekend. You had a bunch of interviews. You talked about y'all opening schools together
Yeah,
in
we was
Africa.
gonna do some. Yeah,
And some people didn't even know you worked with MJ or was even that close with him like that.
Man, honestly, I didn't realize we would get that close in such a small time, because we only known each other for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was it. But from the moment we met each other, it was almost like we known each other forever. Because I was
Wow.
in childhood. I mean, he was like my idol. I mean, like everybody else in the world, like everyone loved Michael Jackson. But what was interesting about Mike was that he knew, like, he knew everything about me. Like, he literally
Really?
researched me. I was shocked of the things that he knew I was a part of that I forgot I was even, like he was super humble. But out of all the artists I wrote or produced or worked with throughout my whole career, he was the easiest one to work with in the studio.
Really?
And it showed me why he was as big as he was, because he had no ego. His humility was at all-time high, and he was just humbled to be a part of what you created. Like, he was a fan of what I did, so he didn't come in the studio to tell me what he should be doing. He was like, "You tell me what I want, what you want me to do, because I want your creation on me, basically."
Wow.
Still coachable at
Yeah,
that
like,
deep into the game.
Man, at that, if I would have asked him to bark on the record, he would have did it. That's how
That's
simple he
real.
was.
Well, did he talk like that the whole time? Like very
No, his voice,
softly?
his voice was always soft. That's just who he was.
I didn't know if he was like, "Yo, my nigga, what you
Right,
say?"
no,
He
like-
goes
I've
to
heard
do it.
stories that there's like the
but
soft
what's
voice
funny
and the deep
was
one.
like he would hit jokes like that. Like,
He was.
like he had joke, and like he was mad funny, like mad funny. Like he had me cracking up, yo.
They have a documentary that's coming out that's basically, I think it's called Who Really Killed Michael Jackson.
Right.
And even when you think about Whitney, they have another biopic coming out.
Right.
Do you think sometimes we should just let the dead rest, and it's sometimes overkill when we do all these documentaries and all these biopics, or is it necessary for history?
Well, I mean, the thing about when you look at conspiracy theoristic type of deaths, it always be in the history books, because there's always so many questions that's never like answered, right? So it's like you really can't run away from that, and it's just too many like black historical influential statues of ours that just that's never been properly let off, if that makes sense. Like we've never sent them off with the legacy that they deserve.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they bring so much, like they've contributed so much to our culture and opened the doors for us in so many different ways, and then the way they leave is always so tragic. Either they're assassinated or some kind of drug overdose, and sometimes you try to pair that up with their history of what they used to do, whether it was to work or whether it was to motivate themselves or whether it was to stay awake, or whatever the case may be. So it's like, okay, that's an easy way of, and it creates, like you said, thoughts of what if.
Yeah.
because the powers that be clearly was after him. Like, we know that. That's no secret to anybody, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like, who's protecting him, though?
Yeah, it seemed like a lot. He was a victim
know?
of his own power because no one would tell Mike no. Like, yo, give me more of this, give me more of that. And no one had the courage to be like, nah.
I think it's always going to be a mixture of both. Like, everybody's to blame in a situation like that, because a man of that stature should never be in a position where things like that ever happens. Like, that don't happen to the president.
Right.
I promise you, if the president tried to commit suicide, he'd be unsuccessful. And he controlled his own life, and they won't let it happen.
Well, yeah, indeed. Well,
you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, you know, speaking of other friends that you have in the business, we always love it when we see black men coming together and getting the bag together.
Man, that's the key.
You and T-Pain were unstoppable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is your relationship like on this day in 2022?
Pain is my little brother, man. I love Pain to death. Like, I don't think there's nothing that can separate me and Pain. Like,
even though he's telling some stories of yours now, he said that
of mine?
I'm gonna tell you what he said now,
Okay.
child.
'Cause
Now he said,
please tell me.
He said that you and your brother Boo.
See.
You ready?
Is it me or my brother Boo? Y'all
I'm
gotta
gonna
talk.
tell you what it is. We don't know which one because he
All right.
said that he used to kind of like swap in for you when it came time for you not wanting to do
Listen,
certain
all right,
performances.
Let me clear some things up. Okay.
He called him a body double, is what he called
Let
him.
me clear some things
Okay.
up so we all know. Okay. Boo was my double.
Okay.
He was, yes.
He was?
He was my double. This was before internet. If you saw Boo in one place and you saw me, you couldn't tell the difference.
That's true.
Now, was this
Now,
because you were
it's
so overbooked that you just had to, like,
well,
dispatch
No,
two
he
of
had
you?
a lot of wives to tend to.
No.
I'm joking.
I will not send Boo to that assignment. Nah.
You still showing up to the job for that one.
Different bodies.
So Boo started off as my hype man when we was on the road.
Okay.
And yeah, I used to get so, like, we was booked so, and I was like, man, all this money I'm leaving on this table. Like,
Yeah.
we cannot leave all this money on the table. And what's interesting is, now I go back to so many stations and we used to have these conversations. Now we laugh about it. Right? But I remember, and I can name this because they all know, everybody over there, my homies. It was a station in LA, and I was in the West Coast doing Hot 97. I did my show there, but they wanted me for a big show that they had in LA. So yeah, I sent my little brother. He did it.
Can Boo even sing?
No. He can't sing, he can't do none of that.
So was the hat pulled down super low?
But
like,
see, back then nobody knew that. That's how you could tell the difference.
Yeah.
Boo wears hats, I don't, because I always want to show my waves.
Right.
So Boo, when he wear the hat, you can't tell.
here's
No,
the
you
funny thing.
can't.
Typically, Akon, when I picture you wearing a hat. So I'm picturing Boo this whole time.
Now, I'm not going to lie. You got another
know what I'm
brother
saying?
that look like y'all, too.
And now, that was the sequel.
Oh,
'Cause Omar-
it was three of y'all?
Omar was my now Omar. He came up under me when I was in the street, but he just never left the street alone. He's my ears to the street even to this day. Now Omar, he would do it without getting permission from me nor Boo.
This is mad funny.
Omar be in another country, another city, getting money, and I'm like, what? They booked me already. I never did that.
I'm not gonna lie, I had a whole conversation with Omar thinking he was Boo one day.
Oh, Boo,
And then I had to
Omar would go along with it.
he did.
Go along
He
with it.
did though, and then I had to think about it like, man, that ain't you. He started laughing.
So
So
we
just
were
to
like
clear,
triplets.
is there a fourth that we need to be
He can't tell you.
that part I can't tell you. I can't
He's
tell you.
actually right here,
If
right
you
now.
ain't figured that out, then I'm gonna keep it the way it is.
That is so
No, but
crazy.
that was a moment. That was like probably the funnest part of our lives, though.
Got you. So as we get ready to cook up a whole Akon album, does T-Pain show up on this new project? And-
Actually, I got a record that I am planning on putting Pain on.
Nice.
Like, cause I've never dropped the record without Pain on it, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. Like he's not clearly as you know, he's doing All Nap Boys no longer on Convict. Cause the way I built the company was we set artists up to be their own entrepreneurs, create their own careers, and be a force outside of what we doing, right? We're just like almost like training wheels to it. Like even when you look at all the African artists that we brought in Africa, you can't like, okay, let's say you do a contract.
Okay.
You can't enforce it.
What you mean?
You just can't enforce it. Like,
Because it's the homie?
it's not even got nothing to do with the homie. Culture was one of them. And number two, it's like, okay, if they don't enforce it, what you gonna do? We're in Africa. Like, what you gonna do?
Right, nothing.
Right? So I realized that, and I said, okay, cool. All I could do is birth them from Africa, help them become who they are, and just because of the attachment, now I can maximize on that relationship. And when they get to the States, then I can move it around and make some real money out of it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So ultimately, when you look at it like that, it's just a different game. So when I bring artists in, I kind of try to teach them the business of it. Because me, the relationship in the future is worth way more than the little commission that you're trying to make today.
That's true.
It's just like right now I'm surrounded by 80% of the music business that I know for a fact, if I didn't have a hand in their career, somehow my influence helped them get where they went. And I can always make that call.
Right.
And to me, that's the biggest like safety net you can ever create for yourself.
So you're teaching a lot of business, but have you ever signed a bad contract or a contract you regret signing?
I would never say that I regret signing anything.
Okay.
But I can say in the time when I did sign my contract, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am today.
Are you going through a lawsuit right now with a former partner? Because I think
No,
he went to the blog.
No, that's over. Yeah, it's clear now. Actually, I was going through pretty much litigation with my ex-partner, Divine.
Yeah.
He was the one that actually, I can say that discovered me. Like,
Yeah.
He put me on. He actually gave me my start. Like, but I think as time grew, he went from my big brother to just, he played a role bigger than my brother at the end of the day. Like, even to this day, I have nothing that I can say I can hold against him personally.
Yeah.
I love him to this day like my big brother. It's just on the business side, I needed him to respect me as a businessman.
Fair.
And
That's
understand
so difficult.
that I grew.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that you signed 15 years ago.
What advice do you have for like young artists getting into the game who's looking for money in an old way? Because the game ain't what the game used to be.
Back then, it was almost like a paycheck that was permanent, that you knew was coming, that you had to think about.
Yeah.
It's like a day job. You know your check coming every week. That was a security that the business from behind actually gave you. It gave you security. Today, there's no security. At any moment, you can lose it. Someone else can be, like every year there's a new nigga. Period.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Every
only as good
day.
as your last record every day.
Yeah,
actually.
every day.
Actually, every day. So there's no security in your career. Like, but you have all the platforms, all the resources to become larger than life if you just stay focused and know how to maximize and monetize that new equipment that's out there right now.
Got you.
That's
What
it.
new artists are you working with right now? Because I know one that I really, really like, and I know she's plugged to you a whole another kind of way, but
Right.
Amira.
Yeah, Amira, man, she's a
She
superstar.
is fire.
Yeah, she's
We
a
go
superstar.
to the same gym.
Yeah. They sexy. All y'all sexy. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's a gym. You gotta look good
Yeah, no,
to
it's
go
for
there.
sure. Like, and for guys, you gotta like literally, you gotta work out with
Yeah,
your
you
head
gotta work
down.
out.
Like
You gotta
can't
work out.
even, you won't even be able to focus in
Yo,
there.
do you remember like at the height of the like mid 2000s when you'd go by the LA Fitness at Atlantic Station and
Right.
like everybody
Oh,
was
right.
working
Everybody
out
was
the
working
window?
out.
Like,
Right.
man,
Yeah.
head down.
Now it's the
yeah.
Loft in Atlanta.
Yeah,
You
now
gotta
it's
pull
a-
up.
yeah, the Loft.
You gotta pull
It's
up.
popping over there,
But
boy.
yeah, so what's going on with that and
Yeah,
convict music?
So the beauty of it is now we're about to drop Amira's EP in November.
Dope.
I did a partnership with TikTok where we're dropping the first ever TikTok EP.
Really?
Yeah, so we partnered up. Amira's featured on there, so it's actually me featuring Amira. It's my way of kind of using the TikTok platform to break her. Right. Yeah, and then right after that, she'll be dropping her actual EP and single right shortly after. But before then, I'm dropping obviously this single, Enjoy That, and that leads into another single called On My Lap. So it's all fun records, right?
Are we back in the strip club with this
bro,
one?
listen, why have a life like mine if you don't take the time to enjoy it, right?
I know that's
It's
right.
that album, literally. Like, it's gonna be, I'm in the club the whole album. Like I'm gonna be back outside for real. So the fun part about it, so as we pushing that out, then I got my son Javor, who's dropping his record
really?
top of the year.
Fire.
Like, that kid is different. Like,
How would you describe his style?
just think of me on steroids.
Really?
But
Are
the
you on
newer
steroids
version,
right now? Because you came in here.
You been in the
This
gym?
man's been in the gym.
Hey, I'm bigger than Loft. I'm telling you, the
Yeah,
Loft.
that's what I'm telling you. The
Gym
Loft.
over Jimmy
Yeah.
John's, you know?
You know what I'm saying? And all they need is 2 weeks. Give them 2 weeks.
That's right.
So that's the beauty of it. So then he's like the beginning of the new era of my legacy.
Dope.
And all my kids are amazing. Like Ty, beast. Like But when you, I don't even want. I can't because they're my kids. Of course, I'm gonna be biased to their talent. So I don't want to say too much. I want when those records come out, I promise you'll understand.
But you know real talent, and I doubt, regardless of family, that you just gonna put your stamp behind them if they're not. We believe you. Come on now. What about Lady Gaga? Because we know she's only growing and growing and growing.
She's a part of what I say is something that cemented my legacy as well.
Yeah.
You know
Does
what I
she
mean?
still give you a little? Do you still get a little percentage off of what she got going on?
No, completely. Yeah, I sold my shares out about 5-6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, because it goes back to respecting her growth.
Yeah.
Now, was this something that she came to you and was like,
This is all my contracts are built this way.
nice?
They're built to allow you to grow to become who you are. Because think about it, like, why would I want to lock you into a contract at that level? Like, it's gonna be a problem. You gotta know it's gonna be a problem. So how about I help you, take it to that next level and still be a part?
That's true.
Like it's nothing that I can't, like put together or coordinate and say, yo, look, I got something for you. What you think about this? We already know the numbers. Like, cool, I'm gonna get my commission. Like, like I'm unofficially managing or unofficially being a part of an agency, but at the end of the day, if I bring an opportunity, there's gonna be money there for me too.
Where are we at with Akon City?
Man.
Is it still running off of crypto?
No. So, well, the thing is, it was never running off of crypto.
Okay.
But crypto would be one of the options for payment systems in the city. And Acorns is one of the major payments on the crypto side, right? Okay. So Akon is built for Africa, specifically for Africa. But because I see heads and miles and years ahead of me, Akon won't just be the African coin, but it'll also be an American coin, it'll be an Asian coin, like America's for the Latin America. So it works globally. But the nucleus, it starts in Africa because Africa is the biggest continent that hasn't yet been developed to a full scale. And it's the only place left to develop. Everywhere else in the world has been developed using Africa's resources, but Africa now is at a point where it can take advantage of all the newest, latest technologies and build the future for itself.
Do you think that's a good or bad thing? Because now you're saying that's the last to be touched. Now, every other place seem a little polluted and overcrowded and like it's too many. So is it kind of something we might want to keep it like that so that we could escape from here? How they trying to go to Mars?
Well, it's actually a great thing for Africa because people don't realize how big the continent is. Like, Africa is huge. You could fit America inside Africa 10 times.
Right.
Like, literally, it could fit in the continent 10 times, and there's still more space left. It's that big. You know what I'm saying? As a single land, like, continent. When you look at Asia, Asia's connected to other little, but Africa stands alone, and it's you can really say it's the biggest single standing continent, really.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing attaching it, but it's just like there's never gonna be enough room to at the rate that we're developing and multiplying.
Right.
It's always so I think it's a great thing.
So grounds is already broken.
So
getting back
to Akon City. So the last from the moment I announced it, we've been dealing with. Obviously, we lost a whole year because of COVID. But then coming off, we hit the ground running. We was able to get all the feasibility studies, environmental studies. Now we just finished the land studies, getting all the soil studies out the way, because once you start putting them giant buildings on there, you gotta know that the land can, compensate, compensate for the weight and everything like that. So it is. I've learned so much building out. It's not like building a house where you can build it in a year. When you build a city, it's going to take, some time.
Ooh.
But we're at the point now where we're now excavating the land, getting prepared for construction 2023.
Now we sitting in a room with greatness. This is black greatness right here. You can't even top that.
Hopefully this isn't a history documentary where they talk about the building of, Akon City. Like,
it's going to be crazy. And then I just, so I partnered with Dream Hotels, who's actually going to be.
I love Dream Hotel. Look at that.
Yeah, so they're going to actually build the first hotel in the city.
No way.
So I'm excited about that.
But you get to pick a lot of things. Like, what international or even like things that we have over here, what's going to be able to thrive over there in Akon City?
Everything.
Like, are we getting McDonald's over there?
Man, listen, everything that we got here, I think it's going to be McConnell's.
was it everything on the McDowell's
go.
menu, but
I'm telling
Akon
you.
got
Yeah,
I love it.
and instead of fries, we're gonna have jollof rice.
I like it.
I feel that's probably healthier. You know what I mean?
Lamb burgers. I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm telling you.
Are we getting a weed spot before CVS or
Well, now that's the thing. In Senegal, is very it's more religious driven. So it's a very spiritual place. Like Akon City will be the only place actually with a casino, because normally gambling is forbidden. But because we're making the city more for tourists, when the foreigners come, we want them to still feel comfortable in the country. But outside of the city, there won't be no gambling.
Got you.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait.
we
My
be the only ones with
my
casinos.
bags is packed. They've been packed.
Oh yeah, no. It's
I gotta make sure I can fit the stuff that's in the bag that I packed. Like, we've been ready.
You can just get on when you get there. Man, listen. One thing about Africa, it has so much to offer, man. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's really amazing, and it's people starting to take the trips to go down. They're starting to see the opportunities there as well too. And the way our minds work and how we hustle. Oh man, like literally, you go there within a year, you'll be a millionaire.
It's crazy how they kind of scare. I feel like they scare us from going to Africa in America. Like they try to make it seem like it's not safe. And even when I just went to Morocco not too long ago, and they were like, "No, sex trafficking is crazy." Like
Man,
I
Morocco's so
saw
beautiful.
H&M, I was like,
You know what I'm saying? You saw how beautiful it was.
It was so pretty.
So pretty, man.
I couldn't
That
wait
place
to
is
go back.
amazing.
Yes.
And that's how Africa is. It gives you that. Like once you go, you're gonna always return. You're gonna and eventually you're gonna buy a house, and eventually you're gonna move. And I think that's what America's afraid of, because I don't think African Americans here give themselves enough credit. Like you don't realize how much of America you've built. And if y'all decided right now today, say, you know what, man, F all this, I'm gonna pack my bags and move back to Africa. The economy here will crash overnight. They won't be able to survive without us. We control entertainment, we control fashion, we control. I mean, think
everything.
Everything. Every major
Music.
music,
Yeah.
every major corporation that's built all these Fortune 500 companies, they're all validated by our opinions. We're doing all the work for them, making them billions, but yet we don't even value our own value.
Y'all got a radio station out there for me?
Man, listen, you can come and create your own station. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can do it yourself. Right? Like, you'll be hosting them when they get in town.
Let's go listen.
But it's that simple. Like, it's literally that easy.
Man, and it's dope to have
And
somebody
it's
with the
cheaper.
vision to build the infrastructure to make it happen,
Let's
man.
just do it.
Love to see it, man.
Yeah, man.
Who needs Walt Disney? We got Akon.
Yeah.
So, my brother, new EP coming soon.
New EP coming soon.
So you can only
Enjoy
listen to
that
it on
is out
TikTok.
now.
Is that how that's working?
Well, yeah. The first when we drop the EP for TikTok, it's gonna clearly, TikTok will have the exclusive for it.
Okay.
For 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
And then it's gonna be on all platforms.
It's kind of like the movies these days. Like everybody's going to that. that
But in
that
actuality,
format.
when I shouldn't be saying this, but the moment we hear it on TikTok, it's actually already be on the platform.
Yeah, you know how
But
it goes.
people be on TikTok so much, like it's so addictive that you'll be playing with different skins and different songs for about 2 weeks before you say, you know what, man, let me go on Spotify and download this.
Every
Let me add this to my-"
time.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
happened to me.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to find out that was Justin Bieber on that Stay record. I only kept
Oh,
hearing it
yeah.
on TikTok.
See what I'm saying?
I was like, what is this damn song? Let me find
Right,
out. I was
let me
like,
find out.
Justin Bieber, no! I like a Justin Bieber song. I was mad as hell.
Too late.
Like the
Gotcha.
They got
guilty pleasure,
They
right?
got my ass.
But yo, Akon, man, it's a pleasure and an
Nah,
honor
that's
to
what's
chop
up,
it up
man.
with you, man.
Absolutely.
You got to come back more often,
Nah, we got
man.
to. Oh yeah,
Give
now
people
I'm
the
back.
game.
Yeah, I'm back now, so I'll be back more often.
Cool, man. Well, yo, one time for Akon. If people want to follow you and
so,
get everything in advance, where do they go? Just know it's not him on IG.
Yeah, it's
It's boo.
no, it'll be me. But it's everything is at Akon. Like every handle you can imagine, just go at Akon.
Easy enough. One time for the icon. Akon!
That's right.
Hey.
We are the morning hustle.